It's time for the Success in Real Estate Show with Frankie Griffin, owner and instructor of Real Estate School for Success, broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you're interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or becoming a real estate agent, you'll enjoy the Success in Real Estate Show on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator in South Carolina, and I can't thank you enough for joining us today. I've got a show especially for those that are thinking about possibly building a home. I've gotten several emails over the last few weeks about the process in building, so that's sort of what our focus is going to be about today. But obviously, this show is all about helping you in what area of real estate, or no matter what area of real estate you're trying to focus in. We want to help you out. If you have any questions, you can certainly give us a call here in studio. The number is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. And if you're thinking about possibly starting a career in real estate, then we would certainly love to help you at our Real Estate School for Success. We're located right off of St. Andrews Road. In fact, it's the St. Andrews Center. It used to be called Clusters of Whitehall, for those that may remember that name. But we offer all kinds of real estate classes. In fact, if it's real estate at all, we offer it. Whether you want to get your real estate license or maybe appraisal license, home inspection, property management, you name it, we would love to help you with any of those. You can certainly go to our website, check it out. It's www.realestateschoolforsuccess.com. Again, realestateschoolforsuccess.com. And there you'll find a list of all of the courses, the schedules, the prices, the information, the licensing requirements. I think you'll find pretty much anything you need. It is listed on our website, and we would love to help you with that. In fact, a couple classes I will just bring up to you. One is the home inspection course. We've got that. In September, we'll actually be going on. That's a 4-day class, and it's only $450, which you'll find if you check around, you're going to find that's approximately half price of anywhere you're going to get it anywhere else in South Carolina, as far as I know. But $450, that includes your book. It also includes an on-site inspection. We'll take care of all that. So if you know anybody, or maybe possibly you are interested in getting into home inspection, you certainly want to register for this class. I did not write down the exact dates. I know it's in September, but if you go to our website, you can find the exact dates on our website, that's for sure. And then one other class I did want to really touch on. This is a brand new class that the National Association of Realtors has just released. But it is a certification and designation course. It's called the Military Relocation Professional, where we focus on all the needs of military personnel. When they're PCSing, there's a lot of issues that military have to deal with that really just doesn't pertain to your typical home buyer or seller. So this is a really good class. It's a 1-day class. And it's only $95, I think, and it comes with 6 hours of continuing education. So a lot of value in this course. We do spend a lot of time talking about the VA loans, all the ins and outs of that process. I think you'll find it to be very, very interesting. We've got a class, actually I've got 2 scheduled right now. One's coming up in Sumter, I think next week, and then the following week we've got another one that's going to be here in Columbia. Again, just go to our website. You'll find them. Everything will be listed right there. realestateSchoolForSuccess.com. All right, I think that's most of the class stuff. And then we also want to help anybody that might be thinking about buying a house or selling a house. We would love to help you with that. If you're looking for an agent to help you with either market or sell your home or help you buy a home, we certainly want to help you. Just give me a call, or you can, better yet, send me an email. That's usually the best way to get in touch with me. In fact, my email address is just Frankie, Frankie, but it's Frankie at frankiegriffin.com. You shoot me an email. I will reply back very shortly, and we'll schedule a time we can get together and just sit down and talk and see what it is that you need and what I can possibly do for you. Love to help you with that. Be very honored to. But in studio with me today is my good friend Billy Aycock. He owns Aycock Construction. He does an awful lot of building, and he's also a licensed real estate agent. How you doing today, Billy?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, this is such a fine. It's a little warm outside, though. Did you notice that?
I love it. Just right.
Really?
Yeah, 105 out there is perfect.
Ooh. Well, I'm glad you like it because it's warm to me. It feels pretty good here in the studio.
It's nice in here.
But you go outside, it starts getting rough. But you've been building how long have you been building now?
3 weeks now.
3 weeks.
Now, I've been building for about 13 years as a residential builder, and now I've done several commercial projects prior to that.
And beautiful homes. I've seen several pictures of the homes that you've actually built, and they are absolutely gorgeous. And, I asked you to come in today for a couple reasons. One, because it's a little bit different having a home built than it is just buying a home that's already built from a previous homeowner. So hopefully you can sort of walk us through those steps. And then I'd also, a little bit later in the show, you're going to be talking about some marketing strategies and marketing tips, especially if you are a real estate agent. That could be very helpful because you are a licensed agent.
Yes, sir.
And now you're a builder first, and then you sort of help others with real estate, or have I got that backwards?
Well, I've been building a lot longer, so I'm well known for building in Sumter and surrounding areas. But my real estate is picking up a lot, because of marketing strategies and things like that. So I'm pretty busy in both. Thank goodness.
And you had one of your best months in a long time this past month, just from referrals.
Just from referrals.
From some marketing strategies that you've now learned to employ, and really want to talk about some of that. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But that's sort of what our subject matter is going to be about today. I do want to go ahead and get this first break out of the way so we've got plenty of time to talk to Billy and answer any questions you may have, anything at all about real estate. Just give me a call. The number in studio is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. You're listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator in South Carolina. In studio with me is Billy Aycock, owns Aycock Construction. They're out of Sumter, but he does some building all around the Midlands area. In fact, we've got a project going on right now that we're working on together, and really excited about that because that's going to be very nice. And so we're going to be dealing with the process of building a home, because a lot of people are just unsure about that, and maybe just think it's just a lot easier just to go buy a house that's already built from somebody that already owns and lives in a home. And certainly that's you're right to do that, but we can at least talk about what the process is, because I think it's a lot easier than a lot of people think. But before we get into that, if you're going to be moving or selling your house or buying a house, that typically requires moving. And, that can be the most nightmarish thing I can imagine doing. I think that's why I haven't moved in 22 years. I've been in the same house and don't want to move just because of that. But if I ever do move, the person that I would recommend you talk to, his name is Jack Jacobs. He's with Nilton Van and Storage, the big Mayflower trucks. You see them all over the world. In fact, they move people all over the world. But they do such an awesome job, and they do so much for our local community. I won't even get into all that. But this is someone you can trust. You can you're going to be respected. They're going to take care of your property. They just do a really good job. Suggest you give him a call. His name again is Jack Jacobs with Nilton Van and Storage. His number is 786-1090. Again, now the area code's 803-786-1090. They will be glad to come out and give you a quote on exactly what it will cost you to move, whether you're moving across the street or across town or across the country, whatever. They would love to help you out with that, and I know you'll be very satisfied with what they do. And again, in studio, Billy Aycock with Aycock Construction. We're going to be talking about the building process, but if you have any questions, give me a call. It's 978-9862. Now, Billy, I guess obviously the first step in that process is to get approved for a loan, and typically we're going to be talking about a construction loan. Is that
Correct.
And a construction loan, it doesn't work just like your average loans when you go out and buying a house, because it does sort of what that title might suggest. We're actually going to be building a home. But say I get approved for $200,000. Will the bank just give me $200,000 and I just pay you, or how does this process work?
Well, it depends on how wealthy you are. Typically not. Certainly not in my case. But generally, what you want to look for, unless you're getting a VA loan, is you want to look for a type loan that gets you a construction to perm loan. So you've got one closing, then it converts to a permanent mortgage, once the construction is complete.
Okay. Now, and say I get approved, the bank's going to commit the full amount, say $200,000, just using that as an example. Now, the lender, they're not going to give that money to me, are they? Or how does that process work?
Typically, the home is paid out in draws, by the bank based on the percentages completed at the time of the draw inspections done. And generally, at least in my experiences, you're usually looking for a construction loan about 80% financing in that. So they usually require the borrower to put about 20% down. And this throws a little kink in plans if you're going VA or things like that, where you can get 100% financing. So there are some things you have to work through.
Well, if they already own the land, would they use the equity in the land as that 20%?
Yes, sir. That could be used. There are some other things, that could be put up for collateral, different things like that. But land certainly is one of your options.
Okay. And so if I'm looking at building a house and I have no idea of any plans can you help me with that, or do I have to have plans when I come see you?
You don't have to. I can build anything. If you see something in a magazine, have a picture of something, or if you have no idea, I've got several plans, and I work with the great architect who draws several plans for me as well. So we can get you set up with a house plan that fits your specific needs.
Okay. Well, so then once we know what house we're going to build, is there a typical amount of time you're going to need, or can you tell me how long it's going to take me to build the house?
It varies. I built built houses from 3 months to 2 years. So it just depends on how big the house is and what all's involved. And
weather, I'm sure, plays a role.
Yeah.
Well, so once it's built, then obviously if it's a typical, when I say typical, other than VA, it'll roll over into some other type of loan, because you can't keep a construction loan forever.
That's correct.
But if it is VA, how does that work?
If it's a VA loan, the lender doesn't have a construction product as far as the VA. It's not one particular loan. You actually have to take out two loans, construction type loan, and then once the house is complete, the permanent financing or the VA loan comes into effect where you have to close on that.
Okay. Because I've got a client that's wanting to build a house. In fact, he's using VA, and hopefully we'll be finding his lot here pretty quick and break ground here in Columbia. But that's a little bit different than using, say, an FHA or some other type of financing beyond the construction.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, then, is it possible, and I know this is kind of a ridiculous question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What are the what does it cost me to build a house, like per square foot? Because I guess that's how you would normally price something.
Well, I price each house, based on a spec sheet that I've made up and built over the years. I go through each line item with the client, what exactly they want from the ground up, from floor coverings to countertops to paint, different things, moldings. So each house really isn't based on a specific square footage price, but they would average anywhere from the 80s to the 120s a foot. So there's a big margin there, just depending on what you put inside the house.
Okay. And is the house, would it normally be appraised before it's built, or does it get appraised after it's built, or both, or how does that process work?
Generally, I turn in a spec sheet to the bank, to the lender, and it has what me and the buyer or the client have discussed and what they're putting in the house. So it's very detailed of what they're getting. The appraiser would then take that into effect on appraising the house plans and the property it's sitting on, and come up with a very accurate, answer, which is, basically an opinion. Mm-hmm. And it generally, if we stick by that spec, if nothing's changed during construction, it's going to be pretty close to what he came up with, on the original inspection, appraisal.
And I guess where I was thinking, or where I was going with this, is if you've got someone thinking about building a house, but quite frankly, the house they're wanting to put on this particular lot is just totally outbills anything else around it. So I could see where you could be paying for something a lot more than it might appraise for because of the location.
Well, yes, your comps definitely come into effect. As being a realtor, you would know that from doing analysis and things like that for clients. But it's usually not a good thing to overbuild for that area unless you're just planning on never moving. Because when you go to sell, you're going to have a tough time if you're overbuilt. And
that's one of the things. If Erica should call in today, maybe that's my mortgage consultant. But I guess because I actually had a friend of mine that did just that, and I'm still kind of puzzled when I think about it how he got away with, or why the bank even loaned him the money to build the house he was building where he was building it. And in fact, the first clue to me, and I told him this when he started to build it, he had to buy 2 lots just to fit the house.
Sure.
Well, that's an indication to me you might be outbuilding the neighborhood if everybody else's house is fitting on 1 lot.
Absolutely, yeah. And he probably had a very good personal relationship with the bank, probably long-standing relationship with that particular bank, and obviously very good credit score. And they were willing to do some things for him that they weren't, in a normal circumstance.
Well, I can assure you they regret it now. That they did it because things went south for him, and I hate that for anybody, but especially a friend of mine. But he lost his job, and then he couldn't make the payments. Came to me to list it, and I had to just tell him I can't sell it. Mm-hmm. You owe a whole lot more than what you'll ever sell it for, and that's why I guess I was asking that question. I just don't understand how banks allow something like that to even happen, or if they're even paying attention to stuff like that. Maybe they're not.
They generally do. Like I said, it usually comes in on more of a personal relationship with an individual banker, but most of the time, and when I say most, 99% of the time, that will not happen.
Yeah. Well, Billy, we need to go ahead and take our bottom of the hour break, but when we come back, we want to talk about maybe some marketing strategies. I really think that's very fascinating, some of the things that you and I have been talking about. But if you have any questions for myself or for Billy, please give me a call. The number here in studio is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. You're listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator in South Carolina, and I can't thank you enough for joining me this morning. We would love to help you out with any kind of real estate needs or questions you may need answers to. Give us a call if we can help you here on the air. We'd love to. The number in studio is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. And if I could, I wanted to provide a little information for those of you that may be trying to sell your home now or have your home on the market. The summer is about to, of course, it seems like it's getting awfully hot, but time is just flying. And because of the market around the Midlands, what you tend to see is once the summer ends and we head into the fall, that's when you start seeing the number of sales start dropping a little bit. And is that what you see a lot, Billy?
Typically, yes, sir.
Yeah. Now's the time. If you're going to get that house sold and get the best price you can for it, you want to get that thing sold while there's still plenty of buyers, plenty of competition on the market, to get the best price you can. And I got to tell you that the best way to do that, to get the buyers to even come look at your home, is to have professional photography. You've got to have that. The pictures must look really well, because that's what buyers are looking for right now. They are online when they start their shopping, and when they come across a property that meets a description they entered, the first thing they're going to be looking at, obviously, are the pictures, the photos. And there better be something in those photos that would indicate the property is worth what the property is listed for. And a lot of these pictures, and I got to tell you, for so many years I was so guilty of this, and so I'm really talking about myself. But I would go in there and take pictures, and it would take me about 10 minutes if it was a good size home to take a few pictures, and I'd throw it on the MLS and on the website, and then wondered why people were not very impressed with anything I had listed. But then I met Jerry Bilton, and Jerry comes in and starts taking pictures. Now, he's going to probably spend, on average, a couple hours or so to do the same thing I was doing in 10 minutes. So that might give you some indication of the quality of the work. But each photograph it's for the lack of better words, it's just staged. And it helps just looking at this photo. It really tells a significant story about the property. They're really nice. And I have not had any problems with buyers coming to look at the property. They see the photos, they know the property's nice, and by the way, just in case, because I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea here, but these photos are not it's not like you get to the house and say, well, this doesn't look like the picture. No, this is the house, but he puts it in the best light possible so that it shows very well. And if you're looking at selling your house and you're not getting buyers over to look at it, I'm telling you, this could be a very real problem for you. It may be something as simple as the photos that are online or on the internet, and people are just not impressed with what they see in these pictures. Give Jerry a call. He'll come out, take a look at your house. I know you'll be very pleased with it. In fact, if you'd like, you can go on his website and look at a lot of the work he's already done. But his website is www.imagesbyeagle.com. Imagesbyeagle.com. Jerry Bilton with Eagle Photography, and I'll give you his phone number if you want to call him. It's 803-331-9035. Again, 331-9035. He'll come out. I promise you'll be very pleased with that. Now, again, in studio, I've got Billy Aycock with, again, Aycock Construction, also a real estate agent in Sumter, right, Bill? Now,
yes, sir.
What company are you with in Sumter?
I work with Agent On Realty in Sumter, which has several offices throughout the state.
Okay. And I can only imagine how busy you are. Well, let me just ask you. I know how the market has really picked up this year. A lot of sales compared to what we've seen the last few years. But are you seeing more construction going on also?
My construction has picked up. I've got currently, I primarily deal in custom and pre-sold homes, so I don't build any specs anymore. Primarily just center around the custom market. And I've got 4 homes right now that, we're in the beginning stages of breaking ground on, so that's great. We've got a few that we're finishing up, so, we're fairly busy and thankful for that.
Now, are you doing spec homes? Or
That's
are you
right. Everything I build now is custom or pre-sold homes.
Okay. Well, I guess here's what I really want to talk about, because you were in the office the other day and sort of touched on this, but you've been doing some marketing that a lot of people don't even know about, much less do, and it makes so much sense and it's so easy to do. But talk to us, because you had a really good month this past month, and it was strictly from referrals, I think you said.
My real estate, as far as my realtor, I've been a realtor for 2 years now, and haven't really practiced much about, real estate, been busy building homes. And when I started to, investigate and see what all these other top producing real estate agents did. I read, a lot of books and things like that, and sales and different things. And I just started mimicking or basically found a system that worked great for me. I was the top producing agent, past month for, at our office.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And I think I'll take that again in August this month. So
you go, boy.
And that's pretty good for somebody who really doesn't practice real estate.
Absolutely.
Full time.
Yeah.
But
and you told me, you don't have to say it on the air, but you told me how much it was last month, and I was very impressed.
Yes, sir.
But how do you do that? How can I do that?
Well, basically, I'll tell you a quick story. It's a little system that I use, but I picked it up from reading a few books. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Joe Girard.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Girard actually is the world record holder for the best salesman, Guinness book. And Joe Girard practiced a simple technique, basically appreciation marketing, where he simply sent hundreds and thousands of cards and letters out, every day every year to different clients and, customers and things like that. And it really does pay off. And I started practicing that myself. I send out, hundreds of letters a month, cards, things like that. I can get more into detail on that later, but, and don't mind sharing that with anyone who wants to call and talk to me. But yeah, it really does help a significant amount.
Well, you said we can call and talk to you. How can we get in touch with you? Whether we want to build a house or have questions about building, or some of this marketing you've got, which I got to tell you, I love it. I think it's awesome. But how can we get in touch with you?
Well, my number is 803-309-4574. And my email address is Aycock, that's AYCOCK, construction@yahoo.com. And I am very busy, but I will get back to you if I don't pick up or see your email. I'll try to get back with you the same day.
Well, that's awesome, and yeah, for the time that you've been, and it doesn't even seem like it's been I can remember when you were in class.
Sure.
And that does not seem like 2 years ago. It was more like 2 months ago, it seemed like to me. But time really flies. But to do what you've done in that amount of time is really, really good. And you've helped a lot of other agents do some of the same stuff.
Sure, and I'd love to help people. I've shared what I do with other builders, other realtors, and it's a no-brainer. If you sit down and talk with me for a few minutes about it, there's really no decision really be made. It's a no-brainer.
Well, how much will I have to pay you to talk to me about it? That's what I want to know.
Well, my fee starts off at, I'll be glad to talk with you. And the system I use, I found a system online that actually helps me, through this, marketing development, which is very quick. It's a card company. I can do it in seconds a day. And like I say, I probably sent out 100 to 150 cards a month, for whatever reasons, birthdays, anniversaries, different things like that, congratulations. And find most of these things on Facebook, so I do put a little effort into my marketing and digging around and finding stuff to talk to people about.
Well, I've gotten several cards that you've sent me, and they're always very impressed, because it's not a card you're going to find at the drugstore or somewhere like. These are personalized cards. They're very nice. The stock they're really nice cards.
It's a nice card, and it's very inexpensive. I can the cards I send out to people I make for, under $1. Most of them around 60 cents or so is what they cost me, and the returns on them are thousands of times what they cost.
Well, what about this? See, the problem I got, you got to go buy the card, then you got to go buy some stamps because you're going to mail it.
Right.
And isn't that very time consuming?
It is. Now, what I do, everything I do is online. I simply put in my order or make up my card, whatever it may be, develop it online, click send. You'll get a card in the mail in about 5 to 6 days,
So this includes postage and everything?
Postage and everything,
So
yes.
I don't have to go buy stamps to mail out cards. What if I wanted to, Christmas is coming and I want to send out my the family photos, if you will, that we like to send out. A lot of people send out on their Christmas cards and stuff. Can you do stuff like that too?
Absolutely. Anything you can think of, you can place on them. I pull pictures from Facebook and put on these cards all the time. Like I say, it's an excellent marketing strategy. And when I've went to share it with a couple of friends of mine who are, very good realtors and high producing agents, a couple of them already actually used the product and asked me, Billy, let's just keep that to ourselves. So it's a strong tool that's guarded very well. But I'll be happy to share it, with anyone trying to get off the ground. And like I say, when I share it with a top producing agent, they're all over it.
Well, that's awesome, and I got to tell you, it would be well worth getting in touch with Billy. In fact, you're in Columbia a lot anyway. So any agents here in the Columbia market, would you be willing to come talk to them?
Sure. I actually have a meeting after this one, with an agent here in Columbia this afternoon around 2 or 3 o'clock. I've got to call her. But I'm over here a couple of days a week. Be glad to sit down and talk with anybody. I've, insurance agents, car salesmen, things like that. So I've got to meet an insurance agent here in Columbia next week. But
anybody providing a service to the public, this would be very useful, I guess.
Any self-employed or commissioned person could hit a home run with this product.
Would you be willing to come and talk to companies? Like if I brought you in to talk to all my agents at one time?
I'd be more than happy to.
Okay. Well, tell me again, what was your phone? How can we get in touch with you again?
My phone number again is 803-309-4574. And my email address is aycockconstruction@yahoo.com. That's AYCOCK construction@yahoo.com.
Okay. Well, we need to go ahead and get our last break of the day out of the way. And again, if you have any questions of Billy or anything about real estate, haven't gotten any phone calls today, which has been sort of strange, but love to hear from you. You can certainly give me a call, 978-9862, 978-9862. You're listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator in South Carolina. And in studio with me, I've got Billy Aycock with Aycock Construction. And we've been talking quite a bit about building a house or having a house built and the process there. But then in this last segment, we were actually talking about some marketing strategies, especially if you're in sales, which obviously real estate is a people business and you're selling yourself, among other things. But Billy, we do have a question or a phone caller on the line. I think we got Holly. How you doing, Holly?
Hey, I'm fine. Just because people don't call in doesn't mean we're not listening.
Well, and we appreciate that, but sometimes I have to wonder.
I have a quick question for Billy. He mentioned a book that he read, and I was driving, and couldn't get to a pen and paper in time, and I would like the name of that book.
The book that I read, and there's several of them I read on this particular author. His name was Joe Girard, and he's written several books, but Joe Girard was the Guinness Book World Record holder for the best salesman. And I believe the name of one of the books that I speak from a lot is How to Sell Anything to Anyone. And like he was actually a car salesman. He sold, I think it was about 14,000 cars in 15 years. So he was an excellent salesman, and certainly you can learn from that no matter what field you're in.
Well, I was particularly interested in the marketing strategy of the gratitude marketing strategy. That sounds like a very interesting just to read. I'm in nonprofit. I'm not in sales.
Sure.
But, I thank you so much, and I am going to try to check that book out of the library.
And feel free to call me. I can give you some more information. A lot of the gratitude type marketing strategies I've learned from other people as well, and there are a few other books out, and I'll be glad to give you that information. My number is 803-309-4574, and I can give you some great other information that'll help you too.
Okay, very good, and I have your email too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Have a great one.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, and Billy, some things we were talking about during the break where you made a couple of points here that is just so true. And one is, you try, and I know you said earlier that, I mean, anybody in any kind of sales, this will work. But obviously I'm in real estate, so that's sort of my focal point. But,
Sure.
You go talk to a lot of real estate agents, especially those that are fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
You made an excellent point where a lot of times they really you try to help them out or tell them some things that could be very useful or helpful, and it's almost like they just don't even hear you. What?
Well, a lot of people, until you've done it or struggled and and fought through it, you don't really know how easy and simple a tool and helpful it can be. But when I talk to a lot of first year realtors, they just kind of look at you, well, okay, thank you. And, when I've talked to people who've been doing this for years, and not necessarily for years, but our top producing agents, earning or selling, $5, $10, $15 million a year, they just want to snatch your arm off to get the information.
Sure.
And I have people call me every week from various different fields. I went and talked to a friend of mine on a funeral home in Georgetown a couple weeks ago. He said, how do you get your sales up? Will you mind come talking to me? And, which I did, drove down, glad to see him. And of course, he practices, what I practice now.
Well, and that's incredible. And it's almost funny to listen to you say this kind of stuff, because I guess until you've really gone out and experienced some degree of success, some of the things that you're provided early on, you don't understand why I might need to do certain things, I guess.
Well, sure. I mean, even starting out building a house, when I first started construction, I would sit here and say, well, why do I need to do it like this, or why do I need to do it like that? When I'm watching somebody else, and then once you mess up a few times, you say, okay, yeah, that is easier. Let's do it like this, or that is better. Yeah. And this is a better technique.
Well, and you were talking about these cards that you sent out, just as one example. I know this to be very true, but a lot of times, even with real estate agents, when they send out a thank you card or something, an appreciation for using me as your agent or whatnot, you tend to see these cards go out on, like Christmas and things like that. But what really impresses, I think, people is when their agent remembers like anniversary dates and birth dates, or even children birth dates, and they get a card, and it is and this isn't just any card. Like you said, you personalize the card. You seem like you always got a picture of me of something or doing something in most of the cards you send, and I always wonder, where did he even get this picture?
Right. Yes, sir. And it's a fantastic tool. When I sell or build someone a house, they get a card from me, and most of the time it's got a picture of their house on it. Could have a picture of their family on it, and their children. And people do not get rid of those cards. When I'll go visit them, a month or two later, just follow up or checking in, those cards are on their mantles, on their refrigerators, and people see them every day and say, how'd you get this, or who did that? And of course, there's my name on it. And
the quality of the card itself really helps the photo really stand out and look good. And I actually was talking to another agent that was using the same, or sending out these same cards, but she actually told me that she walked into the house that she had sold a client, sent the card, thank him and congratulating, and they had it framed. I mean, the picture of they had framed it and had it on the wall.
That's right. Yeah, I mean the quality is great. It's a step below a Jerry Bilton photo, but it's still a good photo. But yeah, I mean, people really do appreciate it. And it's something that is unexpected, and I follow up with them tremendously.
Well, it's an awesome card, because, like I said, you can do it for typically under $1, where if you went to the store, you're looking, I don't even know how much a card costs. What, $3, $4, $5?
A cheap one's $3 or $4, yes, sir.
And then you got to go buy the stamp. You got to go out to pick it up and get it, and here you can do everything sitting in your chair at home.
it's a neat system. I've got my signatures and handwriting uploaded, so I can put my signature on it just like I wrote it myself.
Okay.
So all this stuff works great.
All right. Well, our time is about up, but real quick, your phone number or email, how we can get in touch with you again, Billy?
The phone number again is 803-309-4574, and email address is aycockconstruction@yahoo.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Billy, for coming in, and thank you for listening. See you next week. You've been listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC.